The Punta Chamber of Commerce program continues with the law firm of Holtz Mahshie DeCosta. And we have the gentlemen with us right now, Elias Mahshie and Chris DeCosta and Jason Holtz. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
Elias, I wanted to start with you, Elias Mahshie. You know, we're talking about so much in real estate. We're talking about foreclosures. We're talking about people underwater with their homes. How can people react to this? What can they do?
Charlie, there are a number of things that folks facing issues with their mortgage indebtedness can do to address those issues. We've all been dealing with this issue now for several years throughout Southwest Florida as a result of the kind of bust of the real estate boom that took place in the late 2000s, mid 2000s. And as far as options, alternatives to foreclosure, there are any number of things that a borrower can do. For instance, they can attempt to modify their loan or refinance their mortgage loan. In most cases, if it's their primary residence, that may be a good option. In other circumstances, it may be beneficial to attempt to do a short sale of the home or a deed in lieu of foreclosure, in which case the borrower would be relieved of a significant amount of underwater mortgage indebtedness, and be able to move on with their lives. And in addition to that, we also can look at other options such as bankruptcy or other debt relief options that may make sense depending on the individual's situation.
Yeah, Chris DeCosta, is there anything particular that people should think about if they're thinking about bankruptcy or filing bankruptcy?
You know, it makes sense to file bankruptcy based on an analysis of the type of debts that you have and the assets that you have, because some debts, because when you go into bankruptcy, you're going to be laid bare, in essence. You're going to have to disclose all your assets, all your debts, and if you have certain types of debts that would be attractive to creditors in a bankruptcy, you might, that may well weigh against filing a bankruptcy.
Yeah, so you have to be careful. What about your assets when you file bankruptcy? Tell me a little bit about that, Jason.
You know, I think that the most important consideration in terms of assets is to speak to an attorney that has experience both in the more narrow solution of financial problems related to real estate, as well as the broader solution, which I would call something like bankruptcy. And one thing that we do is provide individual solutions for our clients. And that may be something as narrow as providing for a mortgage modification, while it may be looking at whether or not the client's problem would be solved by solving the problem with their house, or whether there are other problems outside of their mortgage that you're going to have to take a broader look at a solution, and perhaps that would be bankruptcy.
And of course, you're talking about Holtz Mahshie DeCosta, and this is a very broad law firm that can help you out in all of the areas. These gentlemen are going to come back, and we're going to talk a little further about how they might be able to help you no matter what your situation is, whether it's got to do with real estate or any other issue. This program is being brought to you, or part of it, by the Punta Gorda Chamber of Commerce.